Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Sturgill from Jen Rose Creation. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I have a tutorial for you from our January Awesomely Artistic Stamp of the Month Club that's using the Awesomely Artistic stamp set. And for the card tutorial I'm going to show you today, we're using these two stamps. So here are the three cards from January's Stamp of the Month Club, but we're going to be focusing on the thanks card for today. So what you're going to need for this, in your kit, you should have the Watermelon Wonder and Whisper White pieces already cut out for you. There should be a 5.5 by 8.5, which is scored at 4 1/4. That's our card base. Should have a 3 1/4 by 4.5 and a 2 1/4 by 3.5 in the Watermelon Wonder. And you should have a 4 by 5 1/4 and a 3 by 4 1/4 along with a 2 by 3 1/4 of the Whisper White. So we're going to set the Watermelon Wonder aside for right now. We're going to focus on the Whisper White pieces. What you're going to do to start, we're going to get the glue dots and we're going to put a glue dot on the back of the 2 by 3 1/4 and then another one on the 3 by 4 1/4. And we're going to rub our finger over that glue dot. What we're going to do is we want to remove some of that tackiness. That way it's going to make it so it's a semi-permanent adhesive. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing for the 2 by 3 1/4. And then once you think that you've removed most of that tackiness, you can adhere it down to the sheet below. Okay. So if you can see there, they're all three on top of each other. They're just got that little bit of the glue dot behind there, but it's still going to be able to remove it since we've taken most of that tacky away. So once we have those down, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be stamping on all three layers at the same time. So what I like to do is I like to use a Stampin' Pierce mat. I like this to make sure I get the nice even images. So I'm going to take and put that underneath my scrap paper here since we're going to be stamping off on some of the corners. That way we do not have a mess anywhere. So we're going to take the Memento ink and we're going to take the floral image here and we're going to ink that up. I like to take a larger stamp and apply the ink directly on top of it. Okay, looks like we're good. So then we are just going to stamp this down. Remember, it's all three at the same time. And one more. Okay. Now what you should notice here is at the edges, it's a little bit blurred with some of it. That's fine. When we do the matting by putting the Watermelon Wonder behind it, you're not going to see that at all. So don't worry about it. That's perfectly normal. Put that aside. Then we're going to get out our Mint Macaron. Going to take the larger leaf image and we're going to ink this up with the Mint Macaron. And then we're just going to take and stamp this around. Let's do. Okay, so you can stamp around 4, 5, 6 times, doesn't matter. Just make sure we leave some white space to it and just fill in a little bit with that leaf. Okay. Now we're going to carefully remove the layers from each other. Now what I like to do is I like to remove that glue dot You don't have to. I just think it adds a little bit more bulk once we do go to glue it down. So I like to peel that up just to make sure it lays nice, smooth, and flat. And now what we're going to do is we're going to color in these images. We have our Cucumber Crush Stampin' Write marker and our Watermelon Wonder Stampin' Write marker. So I'm just going to take and color some of these in. Okay, once you've finished coloring the flowers, just go back over and add in some green. Okay, now that we have it all colored in, what we're going to do is we are going to adhere it down to our mats here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take each size and taking our snail adhesive, we're just going to put some on the back of our Whisper White here. We're going to adhere this down into the center of our Watermelon Wonder mat. Okay, then next what you want to do is make sure you have your images the same way. We make sure we have it all lined up properly. So there we go. Like I said, we just want to make sure that these images continue to flow. See right here, this doesn't flow together with this. That's where we need to make sure we have everything the correct positioning before we continue on and glue down with our dimensionals. If we had it reversed, doesn't necessarily line up correctly, because as you can see, this lines up here. Now that we know exactly where it needs to be lined up based on the other stamped images, we're going to take dimensionals and we're going to stick them onto the back of our We're going to stick the dimensionals onto the back of the Watermelon Wonder mat we've made here. Okay, peel off the backing, and then we're just going to adhere this right down into the center. And then we're going to do the same thing for this mat here. See, and I was just making sure that the images continue to flow through the 3 layers. Once we have those matted down, see that nice look to it. This is the triple time stamping, gives it so you have that nice effect with minimal time with just being able to stamp it the once. So next we're going to adhere down the thanks. These little die cuts should be in your kit. You should have a Watermelon Wonder, a Cucumber Crush, and there's also a basic black. If you'll notice on mine, I put the Cucumber Crush down first and then the Watermelon Wonder to create a shadow effect with those 2 colors. I've included the black just in case you want to use the black for your shadow effect instead of the green. It's completely up to you, but I will be using the Watermelon Wonder and Cucumber Crush. So what we're going to do is flip over the thanks, and on the back of it we're going to take our 2-way glue pen and just brush over the top. You could also use a fine tip glue pen. And then at an angle, just adhere it down. And then we're going to do the same thing for the Watermelon Wonder. Again, we're just going to put this slightly off so you can see the green behind it. So I've just glued that down, but just a little bit higher and off to the side. That way we can get that nice little look to it. And then to finish off the inside of the card, we're going to take the other piece of the Whisper White 4 by 5 1/4, and you're going to glue it into the inside. Now, you can also take and stamp before you adhere it down, and you can color it in just to continue that look to the inside, or you can adhere it down as a plain white inside. But that is our thanks card for the January Awesomely Artistic Stamp of the Month Club. I hope you had a fun time. Let me know if you have any questions. Please leave a comment below. Thanks.